Hey guys, I am John Carrick and I am here today with 100 Bullets number 14, which has the cover that should have been on number 13, because this is all about the 13 families and the trust and their control over the world, over this world, the world of 100 Bullets, a Vertigo comic by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso. And this came out in the year 2000. So it was well ahead of its time. And we are knee deep into the world that Mr. Azzarello was describing. And so this issue is 100% exposition, and I am going to do my best to make it make sense without blowing through it in 3 minutes. So we have Mr. Branch and Desi out in a New York park. It looks like New York, but they're actually in Paris. I don't know where Eduardo Risso is from, but this is Paris. I forgot. It does look like New York. I love the warm browns that they use for this, the French browns, the French grays, as they're called. And Branch is explaining to Dizzy his backstory and how he came to understand who the trust is and what they're about, and how Shepard and Graves operate in them. He found out that they were not federal, but they are national, meaning that Graves does operate from state to state. And the way he found this out was he found a news article about something that seemed fishy, a guy who got off with murder. Oh yeah, look at this. That's kind of a nice ad. The Sandman books were good, but I hate Neil Gaiman. I hate Neil Gaiman for how he writes, not what he writes. What he writes is good. How he writes is indulgent and condescending. Branch goes out and meets this guy who killed someone, and he asks him about Agent Graves, and the guy sort of does a I can neither confirm nor deny sort of thing. If there were an Agent Graves, I wouldn't want to talk about it. But look at this. This is a great ad right here for Marvin the Martian. Character never really got his due. Anyhow, this guy's like, I'm not going to tell you shit. I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know nothing about it. That's great that he gave you a briefcase. I don't know nothing. Here we get back to Branch and Dizzy in the park. And he's just laying out the backstory about how he's getting closer and closer, and he kept digging. And then one night at his office, oh, that's not what happens next. This is actually a pretty good 2-page exposition. This sort of just grounds the conversation between Branch and Dizzy. They've left the park, and now there's a little bit of banter back and forth. It's not even wasted time. It's really sort of establishing their relationship with each other. And not a lot gets said, but Dizzy is asking questions, and he's giving her half answers, sort of leading half answers. And then he explains how when he asked too many questions, this happened. A guy came to visit him in his office and reminded him that he worked for Graves. I think this is Cole. This isn't Cole. This is another guy. I think this guy's name is Wiley. He's really cool. He has some good scenes. And he explains to him that if you start asking questions, someone like me is going to come by and do a lot worse to you. He breaks a bunch of Branch's fingers. And here we get this ad that cuts off what should be a 2-page spread. This should be a single. I really do hate this image. This should be a 2-page ad that I can flip past, and you put it in between. You do this in every issue. Image, Vertigo. It's DC. It's Vertigo. So yeah, here he breaks some more of his fingers, and Mr. Branch has to go to the hospital. Mr. Broken Branch. He's a reporter. And at the hospital, oh, he hasn't even gotten there yet. This is just still more. 3 pages of having his fingers broken. And he does go to the... See, this is where they should have... This is where they should have put the one-page ad. Put it in where there's a cut. I mean, that's the easiest thing. Put it in where there's a cut between scenes. So here we get back to Dizzy and Mr. Branch, and he's telling her, it's kind of a creepy scene, but he's explaining, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense where they are, but he's explaining how deep this whole thing goes, and how when he went to the hospital, that was when he met Mr. Shepard. And Shepard showed up and explained to him that he does not work for Graves. And if Branch comes out to the parking lot, he'll tell him everything he wants to know. And so Branch does go out to here's again, this ad, which could, well, I guess they couldn't because they don't have enough scene cuts. So they had to put it in between scenes. Anyhow, he goes out to the parking lot and Shepard tells him everything he knows about these 13 families who run not just the United States, but the world, and how they got Agent Graves to do some shit a while back that changed the status quo, to say the least. That sort of overturned everything. And it could have been the Revolutionary War. I mean, that's where they take their name, the Minutemen. It could have been the French Revolution. This is very much a League of Shadows story from the outside looking in, whereas League of Shadows, the movie, Chris Nolan movie with Ra's al Ghul, is sort of the inside looking out. It is very much what the Jews are doing to Western society. They are a group within a group, parasites who are destroying white countries for their benefit. The consequence is going to be horrible. The pendulum, I was talking about the pendulum bullshit the whole time that the Biden thing was going on, the whole time this culture war has been going on. I've been saying this sort of pendulum thing is going to swing back hard. My generation, Gen X, really ate it. We ate the anti-white male bullshit. But Generation Zyklon is going to be our revenge. And a few generations down the line, there will be final solutions for Jews. It's coming. It doesn't matter now. It's already written in the cards because the Jew ratchet only turns one way. They only know how to be greedy and take, set up fake charities and steal wealth. That's all they know how to do. They're only parasites. They can't exist without host nations. Israel cannot exist without the United States taxpayer, and Jews cannot exist without another nation of another people to grift off of. And it's all going to come crashing down because we can see diversity is not working. It's not working in Ireland. It's not working in Sweden. It's not working in America. It's not working anywhere. Oh, sorry about that. That's the worst. But yeah, diversity is not working, and everyone knows it. There's not anything anyone can do about it at this point. Dogs make better citizens than blacks, and Jews are all criminals. There's nothing you can do. So here, Dizzy and Branch are having another conversation. They're out in the Museum of the L'Armée, the Revolutionary Museum, essentially a bunch of cannons. And they bump into Agent Cole, who also works for Graves, and he takes the gun off of, the special gun off of Branch. And he explains that to Dizzy that you're a Minuteman, don't listen to this clown, he's nothing. And everyone's got their own agenda, and you can't trust anyone. You're on your own. And it's funny that the ending of this is the same ending that we had in issue number 10, where Cole had did I say Graves? This is Cole, not Agent Graves. I can't believe I called him Agent Graves. I don't remember his last name, but Cole Burns. That's a great name, Cole Burns. He leaves Dizzy facing all these cannon, which are kind of like how a few issues ago he was facing those guns of Goldie Petrovic. It was 3 or 4 episodes ago now. This has got to be, if not my favorite, I would have to say probably Conan is my favorite. Being a young kid, growing up with comics, reading, wanting to be a writer, artist, knowing I didn't have the chops to be an artist, so wanting to be a writer. and leaning into being a writer. Writing was my talent. Writing is my skill set. So I did a great chapter last night. I'm super happy. I have yet to hear back what my artist friend Jay thinks of it. I get the feeling he might think I've gone a little bit off track the last 3 or 4 chapters, but I think I know what I'm doing. This is the interior of our comic, Ashley Fox's Last Valkyrie. It's here in the description for you guys to check out, as well as Ashley Fox, Ninja Babysitter, and Legacy of a Mad Scientist. Legacy of a Mad Scientist, and this is The Legend of Ashley Fox. Comic book is called Ninja Babysitter. And so we have all this, and today we also have a conflicted card, the Ace of Clubs, Conflicted Deck 2. This is a hard one. Makes you think. A loved one has contracted a deadly disease, presumably your wife or your sister or your mom. She's a female. You might be male or female. It doesn't say. But she's contracted like essentially the plague, and there's no one to care for her. And if you don't, she will die alone. And if you do, it's pretty much a death sentence. So in that sort of case, that's it, go out a winner, take care of her, and, die. Both of my parents are passed away, and I got to see my dad shortly before he passed. I was on good terms with them at that point, but only through an immense amount of effort and will and just eating shit on my part. They made their choices. I don't think... It's hard to say, when you say an alcoholic makes their choices, they really don't. The alcohol hijacks their emotional system. It makes them angry, it makes them emotional, it makes them maudlin. What it really does is it burns through your organs and you get half the life you would have got otherwise. So they made their choices, alcohol made their choices for them, whatever. Really, they were boomers that lived in a society that was so rewarding and so comfortable they could afford to be drunks. Some people are only alive because they don't have the money to overdose. You gotta realize that. Money is a test. Money doesn't, you build your character getting there, but money tests your character. It just magnifies who you are. And if you are making good money and all you can think about is being drunk, then that's if all you can think about is, your next fix, your next whatever. I get my high from writing. So, and skating and working out and just being alive, reading comics. Life has the meaning you give to it, right? Cody Dennison, watching Cody Dennison, his journey, chasing his dream of being a NASCAR driver and finishing 17th in his first race. It's fucking awesome. You can do that. This last chapter I wrote was called Knock and it shall be open unto you, or Seek and ye shall find. Something like that. It's that quote from the Bible. Because I Seek and ye shall find is the name of the chapter, because I used ask and it shall be granted to you, knock and it shall be open to you as the quote that the character says. So they get it wrong because all 3 of them are in the actual quote. And there's a lot for a guy like me to be mad about right now. You know what I mean? My people are being Jacob and Esau, like right in front of their face. And everyone's mad about it online. Elon Musk is as big a piece of shit as Donald Trump. I didn't vote in this past election. All you guys who voted for Trump are suckers. I saw that when he bombed Syria. When the Jews got him to bomb Syria for the fake gas attack. And now Assad's been toppled. This is the project for the new American century where the Jews want to take over the Middle East. And they're doing it. If you think Biden commuted those sentences, those prisoners, all those, rapists and thieves and corrupt, that's Jews. That's Anthony Blinken in the State Department who did that. And it's an act of war against you, white people. You're governed by people who hate you. And they've convinced white women to hate white men. So for them, they had to divide them. I don't want to get into all that. What I'm trying to say is find what you love and you can ignore the dumpster fire around you. You don't have to play into it. Elon says no more negativity on on X. So I challenged him to a fight. I posted a meme from Daily Stormer that said, our home is not your economic opportunity. And I told him to fight me, you fat bitch. That's the world we're in. I'm literally out to fight anyone who's not a white guy, and I won't fight women. But everyone else, fuck you, step up. Tariq Nasheed, you dirty motherfucker. If I ever see you in the fucking supermarket, I'm gonna pick a fight with you. I hope you got a gun. Fucking hate all of you. Racial segregation is the way to go. All right, I didn't really like the way I ended that, so I'm going to say a couple more things. I believe in a white boycott of everybody else, but that's not what I want to talk about. So I don't know where I'm going to cut this off and back up, but there is a lot of nonsense going on in the world today. And I guess here's the thing to say. Build your crew. I have a crew of friends, but they're not comic book creators. They're not writers. They're not they're not in entertainment media in any stretch of the imagination. They don't do video games. I went to animation school, so I have literally the whole gamut of entertainment in my skill set from beginning to end. And I'm going to publish a racing game. I've got my car paid off, so I'm going to have some extra money here every paycheck. And it's all going to get invested. I'm going to start having things to sell. I'm going to do these prayer blocks where I split the rosary into 18 phrases. 18, well, that's not quite right. It's 108. 18. I don't even remember how many. 18 times 6. I have no idea how many that is. But I have 18 blocks with 6 sides each, and I can fit all 9 of the rosary prayers. Some of them take 2 sets of blocks, some of them only take 6. So one set of blocks is 9 by 9, and one set of blocks is 2 sets of blocks is the full 18. So longer prayers take the full 18 blocks with a phrase on each block. And then, like for little kids, you mix them up. Little Catholic kids, kids who love Jesus. This is a positive thing that I can do for the world. This is my contribution to the race war, is what I'm going to call rosary blocks. And I'm going to sell them to Catholics, and that's going to be the money that funds my game and my comics, and that's my next goal. So I have to get my car fixed. The bumper's a little damaged, but then I'm going to buy a wood planer. It's the only other thing I need, and get back to sanding and epoxying blocks. So I have positive stuff I'm working toward, and that makes all the difference. If I didn't, I would be frustrated, I would be angry, I would feel betrayed by Elon and Trump, who pretend to be white messiahs, but they're not. They don't care about you white people. My brother said Trump is just self-centered and all he ever thinks about is himself and blah, 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 blah. And I would argue that's not quite true. But he's definitely not pro-white. He's definitely pro-Jew. He's definitely for the melting pot. He's sort of a Ben Shapiro, the America of the ideals. I believe in the America of the people. And yeah, so like if it's good enough for Muhammad Ali, for Cassius Clay, then it's good enough for me. The bluebird stays with the bluebird. There's 17 species of crow. They do not miscegenate. They do not intermix. The only thing on TV right now is mixed race couples. Don't do that. I'd rather be alone. I'd rather be alone. All right, see you guys tomorrow.